Good day folks, Sean here from Air Photography. So DJI has just launched its very first 360 camera called the Osmo 360, and there might be people wondering if they should purchase it and add it to their kit as a complementary camera, or perhaps there's people who are going to be buying their very first action camera and are wondering if they should go with something like the Action 5 Pro or the new Osmo 360. So in this video, we're going to be doing a feature and video comparison from both cameras. We're going to talk about the benefits of each one, and hopefully that will help you decide which one is the right fit for you. Now, for those who are brand new or aren't really sure what 360 cameras are, essentially with a traditional action camera, they're just like a regular camera. You press the record button, you have video ready to go that you can share to social media or edit. It's stored right on the memory card. The problem is once you hit record and you have your settings set, you can't really do any changes to the framing. What you have is what you have. Whereas a 360 camera, it has two lenses, so it's going to be capturing video from all angles. And the benefit to that is you don't have to worry so much about framing. You can just mount your camera or hold your camera, press record. Later on, when you're at home doing your editing and you're going through the footage, that's when you can actually do your framing. And the nice thing about that is you can actually frame it in multiple different ways. So you could have a front-facing shot, a rear-facing shot from the top, bottom, or side. On top of that, with a 360 camera, you can actually achieve wider fields of view than you can on a traditional action camera. And for some people and for some activities, that can be extremely important. Now with the Osmo 360, not only can you capture spherical video, you can use this like a more traditional action camera as well. They have a single lens mode where you're going to be either filming from the front lens or back lens. And in that mode, it basically functions just like a regular action camera. All the videos are in a usable format, stabilized right on camera. They're ready to go on the memory card. You don't have to bring them into the app to make use of it. So when filming in single lens mode, it's very similar to that of the Action 5 Pro. However, when filming in single lens mode on the 360 camera, you don't have all the capabilities of the Action 5 Pro. For example, when filming in single lens mode, you don't have the option to do hyperlapses or time lapses. In order to create those types of content, you do have to do it in 360 mode. Now, for some people, the Action 5 Pro might be a better option because it's smaller, lighter, and more importantly, it's more durable. The Action 5 Pro can take some impacts and not be damaged. Of course, we still have a screen at the back there and one on the front that can shatter in some scenarios, but overall, generally, they are more durable than a 360 camera. These lenses here on a 360 camera stick out, so they're easily damaged if this gets dropped. If you drop this on some concrete or a stone, you can easily shatter them, and then it will have to be sent off to be fixed and have the lenses replaced. So if you're going to be doing activities where your camera can get roughed around a little bit, then something like the Action 5 Pro might be a better option. Another thing to consider is price. The Osmo 360 is a little more money. Currently, it comes in at $430 for the base kit, whereas the Action 5 Pro you can pick up for $349. Now that's according to the DJI website, the Canadian DJI website. Those prices are in US dollars. Now depending on what country you live in, those prices could be different. Now we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the features of each one, but let's get into some footage here. Now I have the settings the same on both cameras. On the Action 5 Pro, I'm filming in 4K, 30 frames per second in an ultra-wide field of view. On the Osmo 360, because it supports higher resolutions, I'm filming in 5K at 30 frames per second, and again in an ultra-wide field of view. Now, both of these were filmed one at a time because I only could put one on my chest mount at a time. So they're not going to be identical, but it's going to give you a good feel of what they both look like. Now for these next clips, I'm just filming handheld, and I've got both of them on a mount. That way they'll be a little bit more uniform, and it will be a little bit more easy to compare. But again, both settings are identical on each one, except this time I'm filming in a wide field of view, 5K on the Osmo 360 and 4K on the DJI Osmo Action 5 Pro. So again, both of those look really good. Now for this next shot here, I'm just going to do more of a field of view comparison because that's where things start to get a little bit different. Again, both cameras have the exact same settings here, and I'm in a wide field of view, but you can see the DJI Osmo Action 5 Pro has a slightly wider field of view, and that's across the board for all the fields of view. I find the Action 5 is just slightly wider. It's not by much, but it is something to make note of. However, with that said, one of the features of the DJI Osmo 360 is something called boost mode. So when you're filming in single lens mode, you can enable boost mode, and that's going to dramatically increase the field of view. I believe it's 170 degrees. So in the side by side, you can see that it is quite a dramatic difference. And for some people, that's going to be really important, especially if you're going to be doing any type of action shots where you want to get a nice wide field of view to get a lot of your environment in. That's going to be something that will be very beneficial. You can do that with your Osmo Action 5 Pro. DJI sells a boost lens for it, but that will be an additional purchase. Now that comparison video on the Osmo 360 was shot in single lens mode, but the real benefit of this camera, of course, is 360 mode, as we talked about earlier on in this video. First of all, it can give you an extremely wide field of view. Even when you have something like this mounted on a chest mount, you can get an extremely wide field of view, even wider than a traditional action camera. As you're in the DJI Mimo app editing, you can really manipulate the footage to get the exact field of view that you want, which is something you just can't do with your Osmo Action 5 Pro. Of course, the real magic is when you have it mounted out in front of you on an extension pole, you get that look that the camera's floating out in front of you. The extension pole becomes invisible because it's in the stitch line, and you can get some really incredible shots. Now keep in mind, when filming in 360, you do have some extra steps. The 360 footage does have to be processed either in the DJI Mimo app on a tablet or smartphone, or in their desktop studio app. So there is a few extra steps in order to utilize that footage. And on top of that, there is a little bit of a learning curve. Now DJI has made it extremely easy. I've been playing around with their software, and it's actually pretty easy to use, and they've got a lot of tools built in there to help you along, to help you with your framing. Now I'm going to make a separate video about that coming up, but it is something to keep in mind. There is a little bit of extra work involved in order to process that 360 video. Now both cameras come with internal storage. The Action 5 Pro has 47 gigabytes of usable space, whereas the Osmo 360 has approximately 105 gigabytes of usable space. Of course, both support memory cards, so you can expand the storage even further. Both cameras have their pros and cons, and I think something like the Action 5 Pro is going to be best suited for those who need a durable camera, something that is easy to use, whereas the DJI Osmo 360 is a little more delicate, so in some situations it's not going to be ideal, but this camera will allow you to be a lot more creative. You can use it like an Action 5 Pro with its single lens mode, or you can get creative with 360. So for some people, especially if you're a vlogger, content creator, something like this could become a really valuable tool. Now, if there's anything you think I missed that a new user should know about between the two cameras, something that they should consider, please leave that down in the comments, as that could be very helpful. Also, I'd love to hear your opinion on the footage, the side-by-side footage. Which one did you think looked better? If there's anything that stands out, let me know down in the comments. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and found it had value. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.